Welcome back. Another chapter in Trump's long-standing feud with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Trump's been saying on social media Powell's termination cannot come soon enough. And in the Oval Office, he went further.
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
Now, Powell has noted that removing a Fed chair is not permitted under the law, but that comes from the Fed's status as an independent government institution. It hasn't stopped Trump, though, from encroaching on that dynamic. And his latest comments come on the heels of Powell saying this about Trump's tariff policy.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects.
Now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Trump has been privately discussing firing Powell for months, but some advisors, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, have warned him against the move. Joining me now is Ross Gerber. He's the president and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. Thank you for being here. Look, I think it's fair to say Trump's been challenging checks on his executive power. He's fired the FBI director in the past. He's fired federal workers from independent agencies. That case is the Supreme Court is still weighing right now. But do you think Trump will make the step to fire Powell? And if so, just what are the ramifications of that you may be watching?
Well, there's several scenarios that can play out now as tariffs are rapidly increasing prices that are now just about to begin to start hitting consumers, on top of the effect on small businesses, which is fairly dramatic. So in one sense, Trump is right. And well, yes, now we went from a very strong economy just 2 or 3 months ago to looking at a recession. So technically, Powell should be lowering rates. The problem is that he's doing this through tariffs where, it's causing inflation. And the Fed's mandate is also not to have inflation. So actually, current Fed policy is correct for where we are in the markets. But Trump wants Powell to save him from bad policy by lowering rates. And Powell's just not going to do that.
And traditionally, as it should be by law at this point, the Federal Reserve, independent of the executive office, in this case, President Trump. We know from reports that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is urging Trump against firing Powell. But he said in an interview that it's because monetary policy is a jewel box that's got to be preserved. If the independence of the Federal Reserve is compromised, how does that impact the markets and the economy, that jewel box, so to speak?
Well, I don't look at it as much as a jewel box, but I think that we have, a long history of what we call an independent Fed. Remember, it's appointed by, the president and Congress at the time. And so there is some politics involved with this. There's usually some coordination between the administration and the Fed as far as policy so that policies make sense. And this is the problem is there isn't coordination between Trump and Powell, so their policies, contradict each other, and hence where the conflict arises. And so I think the bigger issue is even if you fire Powell, it doesn't change the effect of if you just lower interest rates 100 basis points, does it solve the higher cost of living? No, it won't. And then you get a different set of distortions, and you lose a certain level of confidence. So right now, there is very little confidence in the markets with Trump, and that's why the value of all American assets has dropped by at least 10% since Trump has taken office, and could drop substantially more if these bad policies continue. So a more bad policy by forcing lower rates actually causes even more inflation. And so it's not as simple as just firing Powell, and then you lose confidence in the system, which then puts more pressure on markets. So Bessent is right that we don't want to destabilize confidence in the Trump administration any further because the effects could be very destabilizing for markets. So Trump is playing a very dangerous game, and he's not a very smart man, it seems.
And confidence in the economy may have been what affected the bond market moves that clearly, as we understand from reporting, spooked some people enough to where it influenced President Trump to make some adjustments on tariffs. Ross Gerber, I got to leave it there, but I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for the time and insight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course.